Welcome to Sales Exchange and the penultimate video in this short series where we talk about marketing for CEOs who want to maximize their income without sacrificing profits. This episode is about direct marketing, the basics and getting noticed. So if you don't need new business, then this video message is probably not for you. So to start with, you definitely need to watch the previous video about the 0 moments of truth and so on. And if you've watched it, then this is kind of the natural progression to that video. Based upon the assumption that you know who and why you're going for a certain market sector, then you have to make sure you've got the technology in place to execute your plans. Makes sense? But I do want to make a distinction here between marketing just to generate interest and marketing to actually get people looking at your business and actually engaging with them in a meaningful and effective way, if you want to put it that way. First things first is you've got to begin with getting hold of the right data, the right people to speak to. And if you haven't got the information, go and buy a database and get it cleaned up. Just make sure you've got the right names and emails and addresses and their respective positions, because you'll need that when I'll come on to that a bit later. Dun & Bradstreet, probably heard of Dun & Bradstreet. They sell data. Lots of companies sell data. So if you're looking to obtain data records for business, start with a minimum of about 10 staff, because they're going to have about $1 million turnover. And depending on what you're selling, they should be able to buy your product. $1 million means about 100,000 per person per annum. So they should have been going for a few years, should be able to afford what you've got to sell to them. Of course, if you only work with large companies, then adapt your data requirements accordingly. Say, 50 employees, which would be about 5 million turnover, and so on. And obviously you've got to look at the areas, the counties, the postcodes will be based upon the areas where your salespeople cover. There's no point getting information up in Scotland if you can't service it. Once you've got your data, it needs to be stored somewhere, like on a CRM. Don't want to teach you to suck eggs. I'm not going to go into any depth, but it's important to have a decent CRM system. You can opt for like a business management platform system like Bitrix, which incorporates CRM, which is low cost, it's feature rich, it's got good integration with other platforms and so on, like Zapier, which is an integration bit of middleware. Or alternatively, you can go for Salesforce, Zoho. There's quite a few out there, but just make sure you've got one. So once you've got your information in your CRM, you've then got to look at personas and segmentation. So when the data is all cleaned up, you've got to be clear about who your staff will be talking to. If they're going to speak to other CEOs, business owners, make sure they speak to them properly, or accordingly, should I say. Directors and managers, or people that are appointed by CEOs, you speak to they have a different outlook on life, as do executive assistants or people tasked with collating information about new products. But these are really key points for segmentation. I mean, you wouldn't speak to a fellow CEO as you would one of your new administrative assistants. So you'll always have to tailor your message to match the people you expect to talk to. Now, this also applies to pay-per-click and every piece of content that you produce, because there is absolutely no such thing as one size fits all. So when it comes to account-based marketing, this is important as prospects. You want prospects to say to themselves, well, that's nice. I know that they're actually speaking to me when they receive kind of promo information from you. So once you've identified everybody and you know what you're doing, and you're looking at your distribution of content in terms of direct marketing, we talked about the production of content in other videos in this series, but this is where you have to ensure that you're getting your content in front of the right people. And Social 334 is where you create all of your content in advance, and we recommend 30 videos, 30 blogs, 30 podcasts, or 30 adverts, depending. And these items will be posted and distributed on social media. Nothing special, but we're saying produce 3 items 3 times a day over 4 weeks, and then repeat. which is 334. If you did 4, it would be 444. But the strategy ensures that you can see everything before you output it. You can approve and edit or reject whatever you need to. And the best way to find out a bit more about this strategy is if you go to our website, salesexchange.co.uk, and download a copy of our workbook about getting this process started in your business. But one of the key things with this is that you're able to evaluate all of the information beforehand in terms of thumbnails, as in the pictures that are going to be used that will appear on each of these platforms. If you see all of your content in front of you in advance, 30 adverts, 30 blogs, 30 videos, and the covering images that you use for that, you can say, well, they look like everybody else's, or you can craft them a little bit and make it look like your business, your colorways, your design and your logo and so on. To say people will get used to watching you go, do you know what? I know that's ABC company. I recognise it. I've seen it before. Let's have a look. So the other thing about it really is connecting on social media. And if you haven't got that many followers, or very few, and if you've never done really much on LinkedIn or Facebook, here's a suggestion to begin with. Start connecting with the names of and the people you've already acquired in the databases or database. If they're mainly CEOs, then get one of your staff to send invitations on your behalf to connect with these people on their LinkedIn accounts, not your staff member's account. And you might already know that you can increase your exposure by paying for your content to be presented to a wider audience on LinkedIn and Facebook, and paying for each of these companies to distribute your content to CEOs or directors or technical people on their platforms, whatever they're going to actually put forward. I think also, in addition, what you can do is you can provide your database list, to both LinkedIn and Facebook, and they'll merge your data with their platform to ensure your content is placed in the news feeds of other people you want to connect with. And thereby it increases the chances of you coming across them, or rather them coming across your content. There's another thing about, as far as direct mail is concerned, which is part of the marketing mix, is you can use a platform like Stamp. It's with a double P, and they provide an interface to your CRM that will send out physical postcards or physical content based upon an API link. So if your platform has got lead scoring or activity analysis, the API can be triggered when a prospect reaches a certain level of engagement. But nevertheless, using actual direct mail to say hi is a far more personal way of engagement than just using email. Well, that's what I think anyway. This video's not too long. I'm going to cut it short there to an extent because I want you to assimilate this information and for you to decide if your staff or teams are approaching this from the right angle, and it's going to be depending on the success that you're getting at the moment. But in the next video, I'll cover call to actions and landing pages and automation, and it's the final one. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.